we have seen out there, from any number of research bodies, right? You've got Cypherma, who have seen phishing attacks related to coronavirus increasing over 600% just between February and March. There's another organization out there who tracks healthcare. They have seen breaches just over the February to March timeframe increase over 60%. So the adversaries are hard at work. What are some of the things that leaders should be thinking about right now?
Yeah, the most important thing is we've been saying for years that the edge is gone. The edge has been pushed out to a point where we've effectively taken a completely controlled edge that we managed with the controls we talked about earlier and moved it out into a distributed edge where now the edge of our network is wherever that endpoint is. And that endpoint today is sitting in our employees' homes. But even prior to this, we still had a highly distributed edge where our employees were in the field, at customer sites, they were at Starbucks. There are any number of places where they're working off of Wi-Fi that who knows if it's secure or not. So this concept of a distributed edge has gotten even more severe, and the attack surface has increased because now everybody, not just a 20% or 25% of our population, is sitting in their home offices and working with a significantly reduced security posture than what they used to have when they worked in the office. So the answer to what do we do hasn't really changed. We have this concept of modern defense in depth that we take to market with everything that we do, and it's something that everybody should take to heart. I call it the FourFecta. The FourFecta is really the 4 layers of security, focusing on the endpoint and then wrapping it up on the network. You have to be able to prevent the attack from ever touching the end user. And usually the point of entry, significant amount of inbound attack vectors that are coming into your users are coming through a phishing attempt. So the very first layer of defense is a phishing defense. Stop the phishing emails from getting to them at all. Not just phishing education and phishing awareness, but actually actionable, AI-based, machine-based prevention of those emails from getting to the user. The next level is once that the hackers are smart and they're going to bypass these layers of security. So each layer I'm going to give you is assuming that something filters through that layer of security. So once you get past that filter of phishing defense, the very next thing that's going to happen is that the user is going to click on a link in the email, and that link will connect to a known bad ransomware site or a Trojan site and download something that will impact your security, whether it's at just that endpoint or it extends out into your network. So the next layer of defense is DNS Defense. Be able to block their access to known bad sites before they ever get there. And so phishing first, DNS second. The next layer of defense, if they get past the DNS filters that have identified what are known bad sites, is to prevent the attack from taking hold on that endpoint. Meaning that if they do click and if they do get through and they do download something that is malicious and is installing a rat or is installing a command and control tool, to be able to prevent that from taking hold, block the execution of that malware. That is your endpoint security. So endpoint security is your third tier of defense. If you bypass all of that and you get down to it's now installed, it's now on the network, and it's now the hacker now has a command and control station within your environment, whether that be through your VPN connection or that be because your people are inside the office or that be that you have a lot of SaaS applications this particular user has access to, the outcome is still the same. The hacker now has a place where they can start investigating, gaining access to credentials. So they're going to start farming credentials. They're going to try to understand what level of access this individual has, where they have access to, and then they will start walking through your company's assets, your digital assets, and figuring out where the crown jewels are. So the next level of defense is now that behavior has changed for this user and they're doing things that they historically have not done, you need to be able to identify behavioral changes on your network that this user has never connected to these 3 endpoints or servers or whatever historically, but now all of a sudden they are. So is that okay, or is that problematic? And so the last layer of defense is the traditional security operations center. Our SOC-as-a-Service is one I highly recommend, but I'm biased there. But really have somebody who is stationed in the guard tower. If you think of the SIM as your guard tower, you need to have a SOC, which is the guards in that guard tower monitoring the walls, monitoring the environment, making sure that they're seeing what's happening after all the other layers of defense have failed.